UFC 318 is next weekend. Max Holloway will be defending his BMF belt against Dustin Poirier in his retirement fight. This is going to be a great fight. Both fighters have something to fight for. Max Holloway is trying to prove to the lightweight division that he can compete and possibly fight for a title in that division. And for Dustin Poirier, this is his last chance to get one more win in the UFC before finally putting it to an end. This is going to be a great fight. In this video, we're going to discuss who I think will win and why. But before we get into it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get into it. Dustin Poirier will knock out Max Holloway at UFC 318. When you look at power, boxing, counters, chin, durability, bodywork, and experience, this all favors Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is just a more skilled fighter than Max Holloway. Max Holloway is a good fighter. Don't come at me saying, oh, he knocked out Justin Gaethje though at UFC 300. I promise you, he'll be able to outbox Dustin. I don't think so. Max Holloway, he's a good striker, he's a good fighter, but he's just a high-volume, high-paced striker. He has good body work, he has good strikes, he has good counters, but we saw in the second fight who was winning that. Max Holloway threw 100 more strikes than Dustin Poirier, and it didn't matter. Max Holloway looked like he went to war, and Dustin Poirier looked like it was a hard sparring session. Look at Max Holloway's face in that fight in the 5th round compared to Dustin Poirier and tell me the power doesn't matter. Tell me that Max Holloway has a good knockout chance against Dustin Poirier. Yeah, Dustin Poirier, he got knocked out against Justin Gaethje, but it was by a head kick. Max Holloway didn't throw a single leg kick against Dustin Poirier in the second fight. Not a single leg kick. Dustin Poirier is a good fighter. Yes, he's getting old. This is his retirement fight. He's walking out with Lil Wayne in Louisiana. I get it. It feels like a gimmick. Like, oh, well, you know, this is a good setup for Dustin Poirier, but Max Holloway's going to knock him out because, oh, Max Holloway's just a better fighter. Is he? In the lightweight division, Max Holloway right now, who just got knocked out against Ilya and is coming back to the lightweight division, he's a better fighter than Dustin Poirier, who went to the 5th round against Islam and arguably had one of the closest competitive fights against Islam Makhachev. I don't know why there's this hate against Dustin Poirier, against my boy DP. He's a good striker. He's knocked out good guys like Benoit Saint Denis, knocked out Justin Gaethje, fucked up Conor McGregor twice. Nobody wants to bring up the second or the third time, but he schooled him. Even before Conor snapped his leg in the at the end of the round, he was toying with him. Dustin Poirier was toying with Conor. It was insane. The biggest thing I will say before this is a completely biased video, Max Holloway does have a chance, but it's not in the counter fighting. It's in the blitzing. Dustin Poirier does this weird like Philly shell elbow up block when someone unloads on him, and he'll just leave his head out there doing this guard. Rather than keeping up and throwing back, he does this weird guard to avoid punches. There was a couple times in the second fight where Max Holloway landed some big punches against Dustin. It was in the first round, I think. At the end of the first round, Max Holloway did like a check left hook, I think, against Dustin, and Dustin like went to his knees but then got up and then unloaded on Max Holloway. Max Holloway does have a chance because Dustin does have some goofy defensive blocking sometimes. However, there was multiple times in the second fight between Max and Dustin, which happened in 2019, where Max, when he's getting backed up, he is just getting hit with straight hands, but he's protecting his body well. Then when he's against the fence, the problem he has is the unloading to the head to the body. Max would almost miss the punches when Dustin was throwing. Like if Dustin's going to the body, Max is going up here, and then he goes down, and then Dustin's coming up. So that is a big concern. Max Holloway's a good fighter. He's a good striker. You know, he can land some bombs. But the overwhelming power that Poirier has, especially the championship rounds, the 4th and 5th round, which we saw in the second fight, that's what won Dustin the fight, was the 4th and 5th round. Him just It was the southpaw stance in the right hand, the right hook, that just was messing up Max Holloway. And it was hard for Max Holloway to like come back. And don't forget, when they fought the second time, Max Holloway was on like a 10-fight win streak. He was coming off of back-to-back knockout wins against Jose Aldo. Dustin Poirier is kind of in that stage now where it's like he's not in his prime. He's not fighting for a belt. He's retiring. But he's always been a top 5 fighter. He's always been consistent. And in 2019, he was at the top of his game. But even now, he looks similar. He looks the same. But Max Holloway, when he lost to Dustin Poirier, he was in his prime. That was like peak Max Holloway. I feel like my whole point is this stage, this time, I feel like Max Holloway is more out of his prime than Dustin Poirier. And I think that's just real. People are forgetting that Dustin is coming off his loss to Islam Makhachev. And that was a year ago in June. He's had some time to recover. However, Max Holloway fought Ilya in October. You know, I know it's not that far off, and it is still pretty far away, October to July, but Dustin's looked a lot better in his last 2 fights, I will say, than Max Holloway. Max Holloway looked phenomenal against Justin Gaethje, but against Ilya Topuria, he got flatline knocked out. That's not good. I think when you look at the experience of Dustin Poirier, he can evolve and change things each round when he's losing. Max Holloway can do the same thing, but when you're fighting someone, if you're fighting someone at the same skill level, let's say they're the exact same skill level, but Dustin Poirier obviously has the slight power edge, I'm favoring the guy with more power. And the rematch, the second fight between Max and Dustin, cannot forget this. Go and watch on YouTube. It is free. Go and watch. The first and second round, there are multiple times where Max is getting hurt and put on his back foot early. And he's not countering anything. He's not defending anything. There was multiple times where Dustin Poirier is in the southpaw stance, right foot forward, left foot back, and he's just throwing a right hook, and Max can't stop it. And then in the 4th and 5th round, when both fighters were biting down on their mouthpieces, Dustin was landing the better shots. And that's a fact. I am picking Dustin Poirier to knock out Max Holloway. And many of y'all are like, oh, well, it'll be a decision fight. Listen to this crazy stat. Dustin Poirier's last decision win was in 2020, which was against Dan Hooker. Max Holloway's last decision win was against Arnold Allen in April of 2023. Pretty crazy. I think this is going to end in a finish. I am favoring Dustin Poirier. I think he knocks out Max Holloway. I think Max Holloway is a great fighter. He's going to slip a lot of punches. This is going to be a war. But Dustin Poirier's power is unbelievable. And when he has someone hurt like a Michael Chandler or Benoit Saint Denis or Conor McGregor and they're put on their back foot, it's so hard for his opponents to evade the punches, and then they get knocked out. And I think that's what will happen to Max Holloway. It's going to be interesting. Max Holloway's coming off a knockout loss from Ilya Topuria, now fighting Dustin Poirier. This is a big fight for Max Holloway. And also, last thing, Dustin Poirier walking out to Lil Wayne in Louisiana, and this card is centered around him. He's going to win. And he's the underdog, a plus 110 underdog. I'm putting my money on Dustin Poirier. Let me know what you think. Be sure to like, comment, whether you're picking Poirier or Holloway, and subscribe. See you in the next video.